Logan Sargeant is back. Logan is making his return to motorsport in 2025 after a difficult end to his Formula 1 journey, and he has chosen to come back to motorsports through IMSA and compete in the final 2 rounds of the season. So in this video, I'll be breaking down what you need to know about Logan Sargeant's return to motorsport through IMSA. Sargeant had a rough career in F1, with the chapter in fact only lasting a year and a half. But he did make some headlines, which included becoming the first American racer to score a point since Michael Andretti did at the 1993 Italian Grand Prix. But other than that, it's fair to say that Sargeant had a difficult chapter in Formula 1. But after leaving the F1 paddock last year, Logan Sargeant has announced that he is making his return to motorsport this year through IMSA. Logan Sargeant is coming back to racing his home country of the United States of America with 2 planned racing events in the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in 2025. On August 14th, Logan confirmed that he would be joining the California-based team of PR1 Mathiasen Motorsports, and he was subsequently confirmed to drive in the team's number 52 Oreca 07 in the LMP2 category of IMSA for the remainder of the season. Sargeant isn't joining forces with any old team in endurance racing though, as he is partnering up with a squad that knows how to win in IMSA. In fact, PR1 Mathiasen Motorsports has won the last 2 LMP2 championships in IMSA, the first in 2023 and in 2024 in collaboration with the Inter-Europol competition team, which is quite the accomplishment considering how competitive and equal the P2 category is. In fact, this team has been so successful that they have won every single IMSA championship under the LMP2 class banner, except for in 2022 when Tower Motorsports won. But even though they lost the title in 2022, they still finished second in the standings. Sargeant will be making his IMSA debut at the Battle on the Bricks at Indy, which is a 6-hour endurance race happening on September 21st on the road course layout of the iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway, with the American racer set to return with the team for the final round as well at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for Motul Petit Le Mans, an event in which PR1 Mathiasen Motorsports finished second in on their LMP2 return to the event in 2021. When he joins for the events at Indy and Road Atlanta, Logan Sargeant will be attracting a lot of attention to IMSA, as in addition to being an American racer competing in a North American-based series, he becomes the most recent former F1 driver to compete in the field, as he joins Felipe Nasr, Jack Aitken, Jean-Marie Bruni, Romain Grosjean, Danny Kvyat, Will Stevens, Kevin Magnussen, Pietro Fittipaldi, and Sebastian Bourdais on the confirmed list of former F1 drivers that are competing at Petit Le Mans this year. Before he makes his debut in IMSA though, it's important to highlight Logan Sargeant's career beforehand. Born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, like many other racers, Sargeant had the desire to compete in motor racing, and he worked his way through the junior ranks of single-seater competition with the goal of one day reaching Formula 1. In 2021, Logan joined the Williams Driver Academy and drove an F1 car for the first time during that year's Abu Dhabi postseason test. And about a year later, Sargeant's dream was finally realized, as he was announced as the Williams F1 team's full-time driver for the following season in 2023, alongside Alex Albon. Sargeant's F1 journey, however, in 2023 and in his returning year in 2024 was rocky to say the least, finishing 21st in the standings in his first season and 23rd in 2024. And after a major crash at the Zandvoort circuit, Sargeant was dropped by Williams midway through the 2024 season and soon replaced by Franco Colapinto with immediate effect for the next race in Monza. To me, when I look at Logan Sargeant's career in F1, the Las Vegas Grand Prix qualifying in 2023 stands out as his best performance in F1 with a P7 qualifying start. But he only scored 1 point in his career from 36 F1 starts, and that point was only because of disqualifications for Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. So it's fair to say that Sargeant's F1 career was an unsuccessful one, but now he is making a return to motorsport in an attempt to get back to the top and win again. Now, even though Logan Sargeant is making his debut in IMSA at Indy, he has competed in sports car endurance racing before, and in fact, he has even driven an LMP2 car in the past as well. In 2021, Sargeant raced a Ferrari 488 GT3 for the Italian team of Iron Lynx for the two French rounds in Le Castellet and Le Mans in the Le Mans Cup, as he stepped in for the Italian racer Paolo Ruberti in that Ferrari. In that same year, Sargeant raced in an Oreca 07 LMP2 car for Racing Team Turkey in the European Le Mans Series, the same kind of car in which he will race at Indy and Road Atlanta in 2025. And on his ELMS debut for Racing Team Turkey, he grabbed pole position. I also want to point out that long before he signed a deal with PR1 Mathiasen Motorsports, Logan Sargeant was set to make his ELMS return this year in 2025 for EDEX Sport, and he even went as far as testing one of their LMP2 machines in December of 2024. If he would have raced there would have been a possibility for him to potentially move up into the top classes of either the WEC or IMSA and compete with Genesis Magma Racing, who EDEC are currently collaborating with. But unfortunately, the two parties never joined forces for the ELMS season, as Logan withdrew from his participation in the LMP2 class for the team. You should also know that when Logan jumps into the Oreca 07 for Indy, that won't be the first race car he competes in 2025, as Logan previously tested an IndyCar entry from Acura GTP contracted team Meyershank Racing at the Thermal Club IndyCar test, and he did quite well in that test. Since leaving the F1 paddock midway through the season in 2024 though, Logan hasn't actually competed in a race with other competitors, and he's only tested a few race cars like the Meyershank Racing IndyCar and the EDEX Sport LMP2 entry in December. However though, Logan is set to officially come back to racing competition with 2 IMSA appearances with PR1 Mathiasen Motorsports, and I'm excited to say that you'll be able to see him compete in that bright blue number 52 LMP2 entry, first at Indy and later on at the season finale of Motul Petit Le Mans. But now I want to know, are you excited to see Logan Sargeant back in motorsport? And what do you think is next for the American racer? Will he join the IndyCar grid or return for more endurance competition in 2026? Well, be sure to let me know all your thoughts on him in the comments below.